Hi, good afternoon, and very good afternoon. Welcome to the show. Welcome to VUEGRAPHY. Today's topic is special. Today's topic is about the famous three things which I talked in my earlier video, and those three things were light, composition, and color. LCC. You can say that. LCC, light, composition, and color. And basically, these three terms has to come exactly in this sequence. First light, then composition, and then color. You cannot mix and match, or you cannot shuffle the order. Unfortunately, you can't do that. Even if you try to do, the result will not be as expected as you think gonna be. For example, there is a very good, colorful landscape. Apologies for my voice. Anyways, so imagine you are, somewhere in Switzerland or northern area of Pakistan or somewhere in European country, somewhere. Let's say Iceland or Greenland. So you are there and you saw some beautiful scenery landscape and you inspired with the colors. Okay? And for you, the color is the main thing. But when you try to take the shot, mostly if you are on, you know, visiting those countries, you are tourist. So when you are tourist, you are mostly traveling in the daytime, not the right time, which could be sunrise or sunset, blue hour, golden hour, stuff like that. So again, you attracted towards the color, but you forget the light, you forget the Okay, somehow you manage the composition by inspiring from the color. You somehow manage the composition, but still light. You're missing the light, so still the results are not that much effective. So how to overcome that? It's always the order is like this. The light. First, we have to think about the light. If the light is good, bad, or you have to come next day. For example, I'm making this video and I'm choosing the daylight because this is the big window and the light is coming from the window, which is mostly good from 12 noon till 3 p.m. So I have like 3 to 4, 11 p.m., 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. or 3 p.m. So I have a like window of 4 hours where I can get the best light, and after that I'm start losing this light, so I cannot make the video. Actually, it happened with me the last video that I did. I was late in the afternoon making that video, and the light was start dimming, and I was much more in dark. So, anyways, so that's the thing. Always light comes first, and then composition, and then color. Here is the thing. Why these are three in orders? First of all, if you are missing the light, you cannot replicate that dramatic light into post-processing. You can't. Okay, fine, you can tweak the composition in post-processing, okay, considering you are shooting at wide angle, ultra wide, you can tweak the composition post-processing, but still, you cannot fix the light. You can play with the colors in post-processing, okay, you can oversaturate, you can change the hues, you can change the entire landscape, you can turn the green grass into magenta. You can do that in post-processing. The sunrise, orange sunrise, you turn into magenta. I did that, and it somehow, and the mid-tones I turn into magenta, and the shadows I turn into blues. So it was really fascinating output. Of course, in reality, it was not there, but I did it, the color part in post-processing, which was coming exactly in the end. So the light, composition, color. I can play with the composition and the post-processing, but I cannot play with the light. Light has to be there in the first place. Light is everything. Everything. There is a saying that if the light is the king, then composition is the queen. I heard that long time ago from my very good fellow brother like photographer, like he's like a brother to me, Atif Ali Khan. He always recite that line in his videos or on his online session, that the light is the king, then the composition is the queen. What I did, I just enhance or rephrase this entire line and I just upgraded it. What I upgraded, I just add the color part into the same sentence, and which ultimately turned out to be, if the light is king and composition is queen, then the color is the prince or princess, whatever you name it. And I found this entire line perfect. You can apply it to any image, any image. Let's say I'll show you one example. You can check on the screen right now. Like let's start with examples. All right, so you will get to know what exactly I mean. Let's start with example. The first example is this landscape, cityscape, more kind of a cityscape image. You can see on the screen right now. For me, this image is all about timing, which ultimately means light. Because the sun was down at, about to set, I was getting a very good light on the building, on the clouds, okay, followed by the composition. I made up decent composition. It could be better, it could be not, but I tried my best. And then I played with the colors. I changed the tonality of the water and the seascape and it, not the seascape, I mean cityscape, and it turned out to be very much effective. Again, sequential order, light, composition, color. If I would have put the color normal without any, it would be more tasteless. I just changed the mood of the entire image by changing the color. But I cannot change the mood in post-processing by changing the light. Light is everything, everything. Let's go and check the next image. This one. This next image is a tree in the middle of the desert, and I was just driving past by and I saw this thing and I was like, I inspired. Again, I chose the light. Fortunately, I was at the right time at the right place with with the right gear, and I saw this scene and immediately I realized that I have to shoot this thing, but I have to wait. Let the sun come down a bit, so I'll get more kind of a contrasty light, which I got it finally. And after I got the light, I took the shot using 400 mm. Composition was right there for me. It was like it was made for me. I just had to capture it. Once I captured it, it was more warm, but it was warm like my earlier shots. So I thought, let me change the mood of this image. And so in the post processing, I changed the color tonality and give more kind of a old film look. So that brings that feeling of nature. That's what I do. I now I play with colors to play the colors play an important role uh, in the image impact in viewers' eyes. They play. That's my personal experience. I could be wrong, but that's how it is. Now this next image is the duck, or not the swan, with its four ducklings or swanlings, whatever you call it. So again, this image is more about composition. That swan image with four of its kids. This image is more about the composition. But again, if I would have taken this image in the 12 noon, bright daylight, when the sun was on the top, would it be that much impacting like it is right now? Of course not. It would be more kind of a average snapshot. Regardless of, even if I would have used the same lens or the best camera or even the 500 2.8 lens. Imagine 500 2.8 lens I would have used for that shot, and but the light was 12 noon. It it wouldn't be, the shot wouldn't turn out to be wow as it is now. Why? Because of the light. Again, starting with light. The sun was down near to the horizon. I got very subtle light, falling on all these five birds. So I literally shot. I had like 2 to 3 seconds to take that shot because I was watching them, and the movement they start, you know, moving forward, and I knew that I already anticipated that I might gonna have this formation. So I just moved the camera. I was waiting that is going to happen. And this is exactly what happened. They made the formation. I like tuck, 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 tuck. I took multiple shots, expecting that I would have get one perfect formation in one of the frames that I shot with. So the light was there, but after followed by composition. In this shot, the composition was the heavy element, and then post processing. Even if I would have then, post processed in black and white, the result would be more dull. That's why I prefer to keep it in colors. Not every image meant for color, mind it. I already made a video about it. Better check it out at my channel. Next image, one more image I want to show you, which is about colors. Because I just showed you the examples for the light. One just now, the birds, the swans in the lake, that was for composition. I want to show you one more image for the color, and let's say I have so many color images. Let's say this fireworks at DFC. So this is the image of, as you can see on the screen, fireworks at DFC. This image is all about colors. Fireworks happening in the sky, beautiful colors, reflection. And, if I start with light, the fireworks of course going to happen at night or late evening. You cannot do the fireworks in the daytime and expect the results. So in this image, light is not the key factor. Alright, composition is another key factor, but the colors is apply heavily in this image. So the ratio of these three elements is different in every example that I have shown you so far. In the very first example, which was that that cityscape, it was about the light. So the light plays the heavy role in that example, followed by the composition and then colors. Color has the least value in that example. Composition got more weightage than the color, and the light got the most weightage in that shot. Then I showed you another example of that landscape. Alright, the light was down and the composition was there. So the light and the composition both were there, but composition and light both played equal. Color played less in that image. Then I showed you the example of bird, that swans with four kids, going into the water, paddling into the water. That's the right term. So in that, the light plays the less dominant role, and most of the percentage went to the composition. And in that particular image, the light and the color equally participated at less percentage, but the heaviest percentage went for composition. Okay, and this fireworks image, that's all about color. In this, the light doesn't play anything at all, because of course fireworks going to happen at night, so there is no light. Yeah, there is light from the fireworks, light from the building. Okay, you can see that the building is there, the fireworks is there, reflection is there. So the light is there, but again, we are depending on the light coming, whatever is there. I cannot tweak it. If I'm going to tweak it, it means that I am totally killing the image because I'm relying on that light. I'm relying on that, building light. I'm relying on that fireworks light. I cannot kill that light. So forget about the light. Then composition. I made a decent composition, and this part where I try to balance the architecture with the fireworks, with another little side stuff, whatever is there, the buildings and stuff. So that's how I tried to balance. So I was focusing more on composition because light is completely gone from the equation, but the composition was still there. But everything was dominated by the colors, which I concluded into post processing. So in this video, I just tried to explain you how these three factors, light, composition and colors, play an important role to make or break your image. You can make these three elements and combine them together in the right proportion to get the best image. That's totally your call. You have to intelligently decide if I have to go with light. If it's a landscape, then light always better. If it's portrait, even the light it matters. Composition, when it comes to landscape, cityscape, street photography, composition matters every single time. Portraits, it matters. Composition do matters, but light is most important for portraits. So that's how it goes. Color, now for portraits, color again comes into the picture because you are taking the composition out from the not out, but you are putting less weightage, less percentage on composition, so which we adopted or which colors took part of the composition. So the light is there, composition colors are there for portrait. For landscape, light and composition, of course, and color, but colors is up to you. It's user dependent. But light and composition, they are the dominant factor for landscape. Same goes for cityscape. Same goes for product photography. Actually, product photography, yeah, in product photography, all three elements play equal role because you have to show them the right light, show them the real product with the real color. It requires the right light and the right composition. So for product photography, all these three elements play equal role. Portrait, landscape, event photography, composition. Even in event photography, composition always wins. Your composition should be storytelling to tell the world what the event was all about. You cannot control the light in events, so you are less depending on that, so you are more depending on the composition. Photojournalism, composition. Light is there, but you is not controlling the light. If any event is happening in outside, any accident or any God forbidden fire happening or bomb blast, God forbidden, bomb blast happen, you immediately have to go to the site to take the shot. You cannot control the light, you can only work with your composition and the color comes later. So for photojournalism and event photography, light has less percentage, composition got the most percentage, followed by the colors. That's events and photojournalism goes. Uh, Wedding, same, event photography, same like that. Composition, colors, composition, colors. Flash photography, of course, light and composition matters. Colors, not so much. It get less percentage when it comes to flash photography. Uh, what else? We have macro. Macro is all mostly about light and composition. Color, not much. Uh, what else we have in mind? Let's check. Black and white, Yeah, and for black and white photography, colors are no more. So it's all about the light and composition. Black and white photography. Astrophotography. Astrophotography, you are depending less about the composition because it's sky. There is nothing much to say or to do. So you are depending on your. There is no light. Light is in space. Everything is dark. So you're depending on the colors or somehow composition. Actually, to be honest, for astrophotography, people always think about the Milky Way galaxy with the foreground, and that's where they more emphasize on the composition. That's true, but that's not kind of astrophotography that I have in mind, because I was thinking about, you know, putting the telescope towards the sky, you know, looking towards the sky to capture moon, space, galaxies. I was referring that actually. But the type of astrophotography that you and I commonly known, where you're putting 1424 on the ground, 30-second, 20-second exposure, taking 100 shots, stacking them together to get the Milky Way galaxy. Blah. Well, that kind of shot, yeah, composition plays first. Light is no more. Composition or color, these two are equally applicable for that kind of astrophotography, where you are shooting the Milky Way galaxy with the foreground, dunes, mountains, blah blah blah. So in that kind of photography, composition and color play important role because there is no light. Whatever light is there, the Milky Way galaxy. So that's one thing. And I believe that's it. That's not much. Macro, wildlife, composition. Wildlife is all about composition because mostly we are cropping. Wildlife, birding, sports, action. These type of shots you have to make the best composition. Whatever the light is available is there. You are not controlling the light. So control light is the least factor. Composition is the most dominant factor for these kind of genre, sports, action, wildlife, birding, because we always cropping those images to get the right frame. Then second thing goes with color. So cropping, so composition, which includes cropping and all that, followed by the color. Light is there, but it's still the less dominant factor in compared to composition. So for wildlife, it's like that. Well, that's another thing. Like if you're trying to capture the silhouette, in Africa, where the sun is setting and the giraffe is passing by or the lion is passing by in front of the sun, creating a silhouette, and then you are telling me that oh the light matters in that kind of shot. Well, it does, but again, where are the composition? It's there. There is nothing you are cropping. You are splitting. Yeah, that's fine. For that kind of shots, the light is important. But light is more important than composition. You already composed the shot because you know that the sun is going to set and the animal is going to pass by. So again, composition comes first. You are just waiting for the light to happen. But again, composition comes first for that kind of photography, followed by the color because you know that it's a golden hour, the image has to be turned orange or yellowish. So I'll get the silhouette of those animals passing in front of the sun, which is setting at the horizon. So composition, colors, light again comes in the least form, in the last. So that's my thought about the three terms called light, composition, and colors, namely as LCC. So always try to work on these three letter LCC, light, composition and colors, and try to practice as much as you can considering these three terms. These three terms are present in every single image that has been ever taken through any device. It's the user who can make a very good photo by carefully blending these three elements together in the right proportion to make a wow image. I was against heavily edited images, especially the composites. I still don't do composites. Yes, I played with colors, but I learned this thing that colors plays an emotional role, for liking and disliking any kind of image. And I believe that whereas composite is far from reality, I don't take composites seriously because for me that's not the reality. Now you probably some of you gonna say, well, the color editing is also not reality. That's that's subjective. When I say I played with colors, I am not changing the green grass into magenta. Actually, I did once the sunrise magenta. Uh, you can see the example right now. Yeah, I did that, and I did it purposely. The reason was to do an experiment to learn about the human response on certain kind of scenario. That was my experiment, and I learned that it was not a successful experiment. It wasn't. I learned a lot of things from it. Composition, light, proportion, how much the midtones and shadows I have to, balance in that. If I'm talking about magenta. So I learned from that image, and that was my second attempt in producing that retro feeling. Yeah, retro is the right word, retro feeling. So that's what I try. But do, I just play with saturations. I usually don't use, sometimes I do, but only to bring that mood. That's it. I try to play moody images now, not something which doesn't exist. Now, of course, you're going to say, some of you probably going to say, well, changing the color is also part of the editing, which you completely against, just like composites and blah blah. Well, that's subjective. We'll talk about it in some other video. But again, you cannot change the fundamentals. You cannot change the light and say that without light you can take wow images. Composition, it attracts human mind. Colors attracts human minds. I usually change the white balance. Most of my shots which people like, landscape, sunrise and all that, I mostly shot with warm white balance, which is cloudy. I try to shoot landscape with cloudy white balance because it produces warm image inside the camera, and warm color is attracted by human mind. So yes, I play with human emotions. Who doesn't? Art is subjective. Art is all about connecting your work with people. Some do composites, some do color, some do black and white. But again, everything has to be done in a proper way, in the right proportion. So it will make sense. You just can't work on color all the time and don't think about composition and light, and you think that you can make your way only with colors. Of course not. Some always play with Photoshop, that composites. Some do that. Some are very carefully calculated, producing the frame right from the camera, so you don't have to crop in post processing, or they don't have to do the composite in post processing. their composition is always spot on. So yes, that's what today's video is all about. Light, composition and color. Thank you very much for staying this far in this video, and I hope to see you guys in some other video next time with some new content. Till then, take care.